We've been accused of
a lot of
it's
things.
not really Jim Hunter sitting there. It's an AI. So, Sheriff, if you could reach over and slap him.
I'm not on camera, so
Would that be a work injury for him, though? Would he get work comp for that?
those of you can't see me, I'm
if you
six.
pay for it, I guess.
Those of you can't see me, I'm 6'3", 175 pounds.
How you
Fine
doing?
specimen.
I'm good. We were, I was, talking about vacation. I always come back and I liken it to. This must be what feels like to be how a bratwurst is made, just stuffed inside of a casing, because you go crazy on vacation just eating, and then you got to realize, I got to put the same clothes back on when I go back to work. And
Did you have seafood? Went
Oh,
to
yeah.
Florida, right?
yeah, spent a week down there, and I'm fortunate. I have great in-laws, so it's always nice to go down and visit them and get away for a week and kind of do all the Florida things along with sweat. Florida in August is something.
All the Florida things like what, Confederate flags.
We skipped that part. I did a day, went up to Busch Gardens, and it was great, but my goodness, was it hot. Thankfully, they let you bring in your own water bottle, and they'll refill it for you. I don't know how much water we drank that day. If not, we'd have broke the budget just on $8 purchasing water bottles, but it was something else. The heat was intense.
When we took Shane there when he was little to go to Disney World, it was so humid. It rained every day exactly at 4 o'clock. And I got friends that work at radio there, and they had to they have these copper antennas that they transmit off of. On towers, and they have to change them because of the humidity and the salt. They have to change them every 10 years.
Yeah,
or because they're just eaten away.
Between the salt and the sun down there, it is rough on everything, especially if you own a boat. Yeah. Or anything outside is exposed to it becomes brittle. One day I was unplugging something outside, and the outlet cover, I broke it. And it's just because it's brittle from exposure to the elements. That sun and salt is really rough on your equipment down there. It's rough on everything.
Yeah.
One thing, at least where we were at, I think they are doing right, is their how they do their public education around school safety. Where we were at, the sheriff down there even has billboards about school safety. He's made it a priority. I think school starts down there this week. Up here, I know our kids go back next Friday, and then I'm not sure when the other local schools go back, if it's the following week, but ours go back on Friday for some reason. But it is a timely thing to talk about, is it's back to school already.
Yeah.
A reminder that school bus violations, if you run the stop sign, that is a mandatory citation. That's a shall issue citation. It's one of the few things in the code that says law enforcement shall issue a citation if we can track down the vehicle and corroborate that this is the vehicle, and if we can't, and the code says if we can't identify the driver, then we have to at least cite the registered owner. So it's a pretty stiff penalty. So it should be absolutely. And we've done some extra patrol over the years on when we get a lot of complaints from certain buses, we'll even send squad cars to do focus patrols around the school buses when they're on their routes to catch the violators, because it's dangerous, and it should be a stiff penalty for it. So don't stop school buses. One of the other changes in the law this year related to schools has to do with minors restricted licenses. So for years, your kids can get a school permit once they're 14 and a half, then they can start driving to school. The code now has changed this year to the kids can now use those. You can also drive if you have a job and it's less than 25 miles from home. You can now, on your minor,
at 14 and a half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
see, we got of course I'm ancient, but I got a permit at 15, and that you could drive with your parents.
Right.
Unfortunately, my parent didn't want to drive with me, and I had a job. And he just, honest to God, My dad said, "You really want this?" I got this job in radio when I was 15. He goes, "You really want this? I'll rearrange my hours at work, and I'll drive you and wait for you." And I thought, well, that's great. That was the first day. The second day, he said, "Don't speed." Handed me the keys. And for a year, seriously, for a year, I drove and didn't have any problems. The day I got my driver's license, Moline 23rd Avenue, it was right next to Mr. Donut, and my mom wanted me to pick up some donuts. Pulled in the lot, got the donuts, pulled out, hit a car. The day I got the license.
My dad let me drive on my permit one time because we went to play golf, and I had a baseball or some sort of practice afterwards, so I could only play 9 holes. Well, he wanted to play 18, so he said, "Take the car. Don't just go straight home. Just don't do anything."
Yeah. Did you?
I was king of the world there for about a half an hour. Yeah. It's something about driving for the first time on your own. It's the greatest.
I remember when my middle son had just got his license, or was getting ready to. We were going to a football game, and he wanted to drive by himself, and he could probably remember the story better than I can because I yelled at him. But we're driving along, and I wasn't quite ready to turn over the reins. I'm like, "Nope, I'm going to ride with you." And he was mad, and then we're on the way to the football game, and he didn't slow down when I thought he should have, so I barked at him and got into this. We got into a fight about it, in the truck. That was probably the last time we drove together like that for quite a while. But it's a hard thing as a parent too.
Of course it is.
Scary.
It is scary. My dad used to always say the 2 scariest moments for him as a parent were when his kids first learned to walk, and then when they first got their driver's license. Because when they first learn to walk, then they run, and they don't know the danger of running out in front of cars. So
Right.
He said for him it was always those 2 moments. And I crashed a truck when I was a 16-year-old. My oldest has done it. My middle one has done it too. But and I think that's just part of being boys too.
Yeah.
My dad said his 2 scariest moments is when he woke up in the morning and when he went to bed at night.
So yeah, school's coming. It's hard to believe really that the school year is going to start already, unless you're a parent and you've been home with your kids all summer and you're like, boy, year-round school never sounded so better. So I've had those moments too over the years.
It is, though. It's it's rough and it's worrisome.
Yeah.
And you really got to keep tabs on the kids and how they're driving. And
I think technology can play a part in that because, again, we do it as parents with, there's different apps out there where you can, like Life 360, you can keep track of. A lot of people use it for where your kid's at. Well, now, even if your kid is in a vehicle, whether they're driving or not, if they're speeding, the icon on the app will show up like they're in a race car. But at least or if they're with their friends, you can call your kid or screenshot to them and say, you need to slow down.
And what is the app?
Life 360. We use it all the time. As a family.
And does the kid have to have it on his phone too?
Yep, they have to have it on their phone. They have to download it too. It's great. That way, if they're speeding.
No, that's a good idea.
Or it's also like, well, hey, he's down at the mall right now. Hey, on your way home, stop and do this or something like that. It's
excellent.
What about he's making out in the back seat?
Yeah, or hey, what are you doing 5 miles outside of town? Yeah.
Why is the car stopped?
That's right.
So not only with school starting, you got to be more careful, but our population increases by 40 to 50,000 people with the University of Iowa coming back in.
Oh yeah,
and they're already starting to trickle in, and within the next couple of weeks, the place will be buzzing again.
Yeah, and especially like the University Police and the Iowa City Police, they earn their money for sure in the next couple of weeks with move-in, with the traffic coming to town, and everybody's trying to figure their way around. Look,
and town is not easy to figure.
No, especially with all the one-ways around Dodge, Governor, Market. Be patient because people don't know that there's a lot of one-ways over in that part of town too. So I come in that way quite a bit to work, and I run into those folks from time to time. Brand new, didn't know that that's a one-way, or it's it's a two-way when you get to Burlington, and then it becomes a one. You know what I mean? So have a little grace with all the new people coming to town, but there's definitely a lot of new faces coming to town.
Yeah, and it's great. It brings a lot of energy to the town, but then again, like you say, traffic increases and it makes your job a little tougher.
Oh yeah, it's the traffic. It's just it's people. When you add thousands of new people, there's a learning curve too. And
is the sheriff's department called on more this time of the year? Or?
Not necessarily. Most of the stuff that we deal with involving, or that the community deals with involving the influx of students and their parents, is really Iowa City Police and University Police take the lead on all that. Really, they're the ones that have to navigate all of that. There may be incidental stuff as people are commuting in and out of the county, but it's not a huge lift for us. As the sporting events pick back up, there's more overtime opportunities for law enforcement, which is a good thing. A lot of the deputies like to work overtime at the sporting events too. But now overall, the big influx of people really just affects the university, mainly the University Police, but also Iowa City. University has the campus piece of it, and then Iowa City has, all the off-campus living. So they have, again, a lot of people come to town, make bad choices for hopefully the first and only time.
Whatever.
Have that only experience, and
Speaking
get them
on
set
behalf
straight.
of the station's news department.
Yeah, Tommy's going to be earning his money here too pretty soon, and Jim writing news stories on fresh, what comes off the website in the morning for sure.
Seems though when the kids go away, the transients,
they pick up the slack.
Step it up, yeah, they step it up.
And maybe that's just part of the human condition, when there's an absence of A, B. I remember when I worked in the jail, it seemed like we would see when the students left town, we started seeing a rise in people who were arrested from maybe within like a 60-mile radius. We started seeing people from Burlington or Ottumwa or even Des Moines, like people coming to town from farther over the summer. Maybe they wanted to fill that void of. But we don't see the student arrests like we used to either, though. It's just not the same as it was 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
Well, I think they're getting a lot more educated about how to behave and to be. They're more careful now because obviously you don't want to be drunk downtown and where somebody could take advantage of you or.
Yep, I think one of the things that's contributed to it, the decline in student arrests, though, is the 21 ordinance. That was obviously very controversial. People have very strong opinions about whether the drinking age should be 21, or then you have an ordinance they can't be downtown. But you know what? When there's not a huge group of 18, 19, 20-year-olds downtown, you're not going to have a huge number of 18, 19, 20-year-olds getting arrested. And we've seen that decline. I think that's a big piece of the puzzle. I think it's been a good thing overall. Now, if you're a business owner, maybe it's different. I don't know.
I'm torn because I can see where it is a good thing,
mm-hmm.
and yet you're an adult at 18.
Mm-hmm.
I find it funny that you're an adult at 18.
You can get drafted.
And
Yep.
you can get
You can vote. You can go to the military.
Yeah,
but you can't smoke.
You can't smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I can understand, the downtown controlling itself with that, but the other restrictions, I don't understand. They're just arbitrary.
And then also your healthcare decisions. When you're young, it's like 12. All of a sudden, you have your HIPAA kicks in for your healthcare information. So, is 12 an appropriate age for not? You can cut mom and dad off from some of your healthcare decisions. Yeah, people could probably argue if you could stay on your mom and dad's insurance till you're 26, maybe mom and dad should have some say in your. You go the other way with it too.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand that. Now, with the influx of people, though, coming in to the county for the sporting events, I imagine you'll have to have extra patrol.
Yep. So we definitely see more calls on game days. Fortunately, we see State Patrol. They step up to with their presence when there's, especially football games. basketball, wrestling, there's that impact from the traffic times, but overall football's the big one that kind of is a day-long disruption, you might say.
Depends. Not the offense.
The new year, we got a lot of new stuff to be optimistic about.
I hope so.
Kind of like a Bears fan, you know. Every year's a fresh start.
They're 2-0.
Hey, I get a lot of grief from a couple.
I'm a Bears fan, okay, but let's be serious. Yeah, they're 2-0 now.
Yes.
Okay.
Top of the division, aren't they?
Let them ride it. I know it's preseason, but let them ride it. Let them have fun.
Let's have fun with it, just for a moment.
Yeah.
Yep, it's like that new car smell.
That's what I'm told every Cubs season.
Well, and Cubs fans are going crazy because they're just one game under 500 now. It could possibly, of course, they're playing the Guardians this week, so chances are they'll be 4 before the end.
And they're
of
not
the
the
week.
White Sox.
And they're not the White Sox.
See?
Yeah.
That's killing the leg.
I bet. That's rough.
I mean,
I went to bed and they were winning, and I woke up they lost. You know, it's a
Watch plenty of Bears games like that too.
yeah.
The other thing we were just talking about too in the I put up two new trail cameras yesterday because bow season is just around the corner almost. And but then Jim and I got to talking about trail cameras are also we get a lot of good evidence, a lot of help with those from solving crimes too. So they're a good deterrent or a good way to help law enforcement out for burglaries, thefts. When we start seeing a lot of thefts in the rural areas, trail cameras a lot of times are a big help for us for getting pictures of it, whether it's a suspect vehicles. Now you can get the app right on your phone for whichever camera you've got. You can check it all the time. So, trail cameras they're the hot ticket anymore for helping us solve crimes.
You caught a guy that was taking apart a cultivator and selling the metal for scrap. I believe there was some surveillance video of that.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It might have been the farmer himself or something, but
we've got some of our own that we can throw up too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, a lot of times it's folks who are just go out and buy them on their own, or they have one they then just repurpose it for, whether it's their construction sites, farm equipment, mm-hmm. farm outbuildings, that kind of thing. Trail cameras are a big help, or put up more than one because sometimes a person might see one of them, but they might not think there's a second one that'll
right.
them.
Do you think crime's down, and it's down in the country because there's a camera everywhere?
That's a piece of it, I'm sure. That's a question without a definitive answer. Why
That's
is
what I ask.
Yeah,
I ask questions no one can answer.
A right-thinking person would go, well, I'm being watched wherever I go, and then you've got people that work in convenience stores where there's security cameras everywhere stealing.
Oh, that's exactly right. I mean, there are cameras everywhere. Your phone is tracking everything you do.
Well, that's what was so silly about the COVID shot is Bill Gates was implanting something in you that would track you. People saying that while they're holding up their phones.
Yeah, that's your phone is that's the key to your demise most of the time. It's the location evidence. They not only track where you are, it tracks your altitude. And if you're wearing a watch, it's tracking your pulse. I mean, it's tracking everything you do. And we all know we've had those moments where we're sitting in the living room randomly talking about, I don't know, peach cobbler, and 5 minutes later you look at your phone and Trader Joe's is popping up in your Facebook feed.
That's scary.
Jam,
that happened to me. I was having a conversation with Jan, mm-hmm. and then the divorce attorney started. No, but the phone's tracking everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even this is a topic I talk about a lot, like with younger people especially. But even if you delete the data from your phone, we can go back and get a lot of good information by submitting search warrants to the provider, whether it's mm-hmm. the carrier of the phone or the app that we're looking for, whether it's Snapchat, Facebook, whatever those things are. Those companies carry and keep a significant amount of data that is very valuable to criminal investigations.
Well, everything is in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really is shot up, and to these servers, and yeah, you really can't. And then people with the smart speakers. A lot of people have been caught doing like abusive things on their smart speakers.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about technology is it is so it's a lot of times designed to help us as people, live better lives. Somebody will always exploit it to harm people and take advantage of it. I mean, we saw that right away with AirTags and GPSs. We see it with, there's all kinds of ways you can. There's videos of how you can take like one of your AirPods and leave it in another room and turn it into a remote listening device and use it from your phone from another room.
Oh my God.
People are constantly looking for ways to use technology as a way to perpetrate criminal behavior, whether it's theft. Our cyber team, they're already seeing instances of AI generated child pornography. And I mean, it's just nonstop when it comes to people using technology to hurt other people, to take advantage of people, to steal from people, to victimize people.
This AI crap, and I don't like it, and I hate to sound, I'm 75 and I don't like it, but
I agree with you though. I mean,
we talked about it earlier, a couple weeks ago. There is a law that the FCC is proposing that if we run any commercials that have AI, like Biden saying, let's hit the nukes or something, that we have to identify it using AI. And the other side, Republicans, are fighting that through the Federal Elections Committee, saying that that's going to cause confusion and freedom of speech and everything. I, as a broadcaster, I don't care which party. I have to run those ads.
Yeah.
I have to. It's the law. I can't turn it down. But I should, and I will, despite anything. If we feel it's AI, we're going to identify it before and after the ad this is AI.
I think some of the warning signs about AI were there with when ChatGPT really kind of became a mainstream thing, because you started seeing attorneys using it to generate like legal briefs that were had false like precedent, false case law, false information in it, and that's a dangerous road to go down, especially in the legal world. And now you're seeing, as I mentioned, AI is generating child sex abuse material. We saw it in the last election with AI generated, like was it a Biden ad?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I mean, who's to say somebody could take our voices from this broadcast and use a piece of it to turn around and generate some sort of AI created content. Obviously there's funny uses out there, like if you see somebody take a Phil Collins song and have it AI generated so it sounds like Hank Williams Sr., I'd kind of like to listen to that. It'd be kind of funny. But it's dangerous territory, and especially when it comes to the legal world, and I would even add the broadcast, the media world too.
There are now companies getting AI disc jockeys.
One I listen to.
Yeah, and they're taking it. Okay, so the AI disc jockey looks at Twitter and Facebook and the other social media, and sticks it in the conversation, and it may be completely false. I mean,
Sure.
But they're sticking it in. I mean, radio doesn't understand, and I've been doing this 60 freaking years, that the whole thing about radio was it was local, and it could talk to people like real people talking to real people, and it's really gone to hell in a handbasket.
Well,
if you ask me, it's just this is why a lot of stations are failing.
Sure, I can see that.
Yeah, they're just totally disregarding the human element. Now, AI has been used for good. It's apparently it's really great for medical research because you can crunch numbers a lot faster and do data analysis a lot faster using AI. But there's got to be some way that, unfortunately, our politicians, a lot of them don't even know what it is. So to try to explain it to them to get them to regulate it is an uphill battle.
Yeah, and they won't want to regulate it until it's used against them.
Right.
When it's primary season or general election season and it's being ran against them but you see that a lot of ways. People, you don't see a lot of changes getting made until that abstract thing affects them, and all of a sudden it's a problem.
Well, in 2016, Trump said, "Give us those emails. You hacked Hillary. Give us the emails." Well, now they got hacked, and oh my God.
Oh.
Well, it's dangerous for both parties. It's
dangerous. It's dangerous for democracy, and that's what we should all be concerned about.
Yeah. It just anything else? Any other words of wisdom?
Well, I better put my feet up. We're going to talk about words of wisdom.
I need wisdom here.
I don't think so. Not for now. I just appreciate you having me down and keeping this going. I know people listen because they tell me they listen. By God, they're out there. No, I think this is it's a good thing. This is helpful. I appreciate the opportunity to come down and just keep doing this and talk about public safety, talk to the community, and figure out ways to. We're always looking for new opportunities to engage the community too and be out there. So if there's an opportunity for us to be involved in your community group, your lunch, your come read a story to the kids, whatever it may be. Get a hold of me or get a hold of my office. We're always looking for ways to get out there and just be in front of people and talk about what we do and listen to what's important from the community.
Oh, cool.
One thing
No, time's up.
I just remembered, and I came across this at the fair, and I came across it at the Hy-Vee yesterday. People are, and of course now I'm going to be sensitive to it because my wife has ALS, and we need the handicap spaces. And there's so many people that are parking in handicap spaces without the placards, without the license plate. And I don't think it's being patrolled. When I went to the fair, it was hard for us to. I finally had to just drop her off at the door because all these cars were taking up these handicap spaces.
No, that's good to know. We meet with the fair board in preparation for the fair, and that's something we can talk about again for next year. Is keep an eye on the handicap parking and making sure we're doing what we need to be doing to make sure you have places to park. So that's good to know.
All right. Well, thanks again.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks.
Mighty 1630.